I think we'll get started if we could first announce that this is the board meeting, December 19th at the Addison Township Hall, at 1440 Rochester Road. If we could all stand for the pledge, and we have Gino, our veteran from Korea, if he could please start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the hope that your love brings to us all. Thank you so much for this board and ask for your direction in our decisions. I ask you to touch each heart in Addison Township with your love during this Christmas season, and I especially ask you to place your hands around the Malaya family with the loss of one of Addison Township's most loved ladies. Marlene will be missed, but definitely not forgotten. We ask you to hear our prayers and give us peace. In the Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, so we have a call, please.
Yes. Mary Cross. Here. Karen Bible. Here. Lily Garrett. Here. Edward here. Lloyd Fisher. Here. Senate President. Supervisor Pearson.
Present. All counted. Any announcements?
No.
Department reports, as usual, available in my office. Petitions?
No.
Okay, we'll go to the order of the business. Approval of the agenda.
I would like to add as 4B, 2223 cemetery burial service fees.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Okay, so 4B. Everybody's got that, right? Okay. Okay, so we have any discussion on it? Not hearing any, do we have roll call, please?
Karen Bible.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Edward Coe.
Yes.
Mary Cross.
Yes.
Lloyd Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, that passes. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Yes, we have a short one tonight. Approval of November 21st minutes. Approval of the November 2022 bills is paid. Clinton River watershed dues for $500 from community projects.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any, can we have roll call on that, please?
Yes. Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Edward Coe.
Yes.
Karen Bible.
Yes.
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Lloyd Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. And that passes. Now we'll move on to item number 2, resolution for the 2023 no-haz interlocal agreement. As you know, we paid $12,017 last year for the no-haz session for the year. We had 125 cars total. That comes out to like $97 a car. Plus you pay a fee to go there also, so it's well over $100 per car. Last year it was about $50 a car. They raised the rates dramatically this year. I've talked to the other township supervisors, and some of them are opting out. And so I think Addison Township should opt out. I think we have another alternative. I've spoken with our spring cleanup people, and they said that they can handle probably just about everything during the same spring cleanup, and we won't have to pay. So that'd be a savings of about $12,000. And if we have to pay a few dollars more at the spring cleanup, then it'll be a one-time lineup that everybody can come in and get rid of the hazmat at the same time that they're doing the spring cleanup. So, and I think we spent about $7,000 total for spring cleanup. So I think this is a win-win for us, because I think we have a golden opportunity to save some money here and actually make it easier for our citizens, because if you had been in the lineup over there, like at the Oxford Middle School, it did work very well, but the lineup was a mile and a half that you had to get there early in the morning, and you had to make an appointment, and there were a lot of issues, and then they cut it off after a certain amount of people. So I think this might be easier just for our residents. So,
Well, I noticed on the information on his gave us that 72 people showed up at the Oxford Middle School, and then the other 3 events didn't equal to 72, so our residents are using the ones that's close here. So if we have it at our place, that should help out a lot, and it will still bring our people there. I agree that we should opt out at $12,000 a year.
Next questions?
yes,
How would we notify the residents that we're not doing the LIS program?
I think that what we will do is, the best way, I guess, is maybe in our taxes, when we send out, our new taxes, are the new assessments, that maybe we could put a letter in there saying that we will handle that at spring cleanup this year for residents only. I think that'd be the simplest way. Because I do understand what you're saying, because they have a schedule, and we just won't, we won't commit to that, that's all.
We can put it on our website, but I'll just put that we're not participating in NOHAS this year. And then once we get the details from your person, then we can just add that.
I think it's worth a try this year. Let's see, it might be really good for our residents, have a one-stop, so.
I know Rochester Hills opted out of NOHAS and they're working with SACRA, so that might be another avenue to look, because you would have to drive down to SACRA, which is
That's,
it's south of Royal Oak.
it's right there in Coolidge, yeah.
But it still may be substantially cheaper, but this is a great idea, and we'll try to get a newsletter out maybe in the assessment notices.
Is Sakra, South Oakland Recycling,
Yeah.
And their main base is
what do they charge for?
I didn't get the numbers.
It's actually free.
Well, wouldn't be free for us, though.
But if you deliver it there, I believe we have access to it. That's.
Well, maybe we could get that information also and have that available on a flyer up front, because we'll start getting phone calls for people that want the NOHAS information. We normally get calls and people coming in looking for the flyer, so.
Well, if the spring cleanup turns out too much, maybe we could just run a truck and Bruce can find some volunteers to try it.
Well,
He's got
now
the-
that you mentioned that. But there is a cheaper way to do it, and I think we can save a lot of money, and I think we can actually serve our citizens better, quicker. Yes,
Bruce, I'd like to make a motion that we opt out of the NOHAS 2023 and allow the administration to advertise as they feel necessary.
I'll support.
okay, we have a motion and support. Do we have any other comments on that? Not hearing any. Can we have roll call, please?
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Karen Gillan.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, okay, that passes. Now we're on to the fire department that we see quite often. Is the chief here? Yes, he
Yes,
is.
there's a couple items, I'll stand at the podium.
Okay, well, we have station number 1. I know you want to do an office update and office furniture for what, $28,551.90, and flooring from Quality Lumber Building Wholesalers for $5,867.38, with $5,000 for miscellaneous materials, paint, all from your capital fund, ending in 975000. I know that you can squeak oil out of a penny easily, so I know that whatever you say you can do this, and with the firemen's help, because you have an awful lot of talented people, I think you'll be able to do it very reasonably, right?
Yes, and that is a lot of our labor and stuff involved with that I didn't calculate in there. So that's just the rendition you saw of the office furniture there. And then the flooring, we're gonna match the other room that we had. We're gonna take the carpeting out, we'll rip that all out. We'll install the flooring ourselves. So that's just the cost just for the flooring. And we kind of wanted to get it, I was thinking about next year, but the prices, they're anticipating a big increase for next year. So we do have money in there this year for not doing Station 2 yet. So I thought we'd take advantage of those cheaper prices and get some of that done. We're also gonna take the time to repaint everything. The station hasn't been painted in there since 2004 when it was built, so we'll do all that kind of stuff then. So in the $5,000, I can go up to $3,000 as the fire chief, but I just wanted the board to realize what expenses we had in there and they come out of capital if that would, if you so, approve.
Okay, I think what you're looking for also is for us to have a motion to waive the purchasing ordinance, right? 'Cause you're buying
Well, the office furniture was on a bid, that's the Omnia Partners contract, as we looked into it. It is set up a purchasing program for government entities. So the furniture, we would not, but I would need, for the flooring. And the only reason why we want that is because we want it to match what we have already. So it's Cardine flooring, we can get anywhere. And one of our residents in the township, taking one from Bruce, he actually gave us a better price on the flooring because he lives right by us and he actually is a distributor of that flooring.
Okay.
So it was marked as a sole provider for the flooring?
It's that's our area where we can get that Cardine flooring. I mean, I could probably get it somewhere in Ohio, but it's our local distributor here in Michigan.
Does anybody on the board have a question?
Does all that furniture need to be assembled?
Yes, and that is, from that company. They said that they would like to, do the partitions and stuff, and we tried to see that. He goes, it's really not that much more for us to assemble it, so we let the experts do that part. But we're gonna disassemble all the other stuff and throw it away. That's why I'm kinda thinking there might be a dumpster fee there and stuff like that, so that $5,000 is a lot. But there is some cushion. There's gonna be some drywall work because we're gonna move Angela's office over one right by mine, and so it's a little bit of work to do, but that should be more than enough.
Well, I, for one, have seen your work in the past. I know when you say you can do something, you do it. And so I am on the faith that if this is what you want, you have definitely done your research. So what I'm looking for, first of all, is a motion to waive the purchasing ordinance.
I'll move to waive the purchasing ordinance as the furniture is through a government cooperative, and the second, I'm still not sure what the second is, sole provider for
Local provider.
You're talking
For the flooring.
For the flooring,
Yeah.
yes. It's a local sole provider.
Yes.
And I'll second that, Bruce.
local provider.
Okay, so we have a motion and we just had a second. Any other discussion?
What's the total amount?
The total amount of the whole project, I'm estimating $39,419.28. That's 28, the 5 and the 5,800 and the 5,000 equals $39,419.28.
We'll need them broken out though.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I'll make a motion that we approve the expenditure, all of it coming from the capital account, Office Express for $28,551.90, flooring from Quality Lumber Building Wholesalers for $58,67.38, and $5,000 for miscellaneous materials and paint.
Did we vote on the first one?
I don't think we voted on waiving purchasing.
We have to waive the purchasing.
We didn't call it?
No. I depend on you to do all these
No,
things.
I have
Pauline's
to,
just moving right along.
no, I have to wait for you to
She already knows
ask.
the
I just want you to know this is the first time I've been right.
Well, if you give her a chance, she's new, okay?
So can we do multiple points now?
Okay, well, do the first one, please. That's the way.
See, now he asked me to do it.
Please.
Karen Guyval.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Ed Brakefield.
Yes.
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Peterson.
Yes, okay, and we already had the motion, and we did get a second on the second motion. Any discussion on that? Could we have a roll call, please?
Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Karen Guyval.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Mary Cross.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that one passed. And now we'll move on to the fire department once again. Approval of Station 2 conceptual design. I know that I saw several renditions of what you're looking for. I don't know what you guys think is the most practical.
We did have in the packet that I put together as a binder and stuff, I actually took the partners and architect and we copied it and put some together. But there is a concept in towards the back that we actually picked the layout and the design. It said selected design and the outside as well as the inside. And it really looks well with the township. I think the aesthetics of that, this complex would behoove us to make it match the township, except for the green roof. But I think the red and the tan color would be all right with that, as you can see. And some of the kind of, it's a poor rendition kind of, but it gives you kind of an idea of what we're looking for. And there is a little bit of an add-on to the station. I think this would, match, serve our needs for, a good 50 years. If that makes sense. We're redoing the office areas into sleeping quarters, and then just doing some renovations and updating. The building's a pole barn built in 1987, so there is some issues with the building itself. The doors up front, the big bay doors, keeping the roof. The roof is, there's nothing wrong with the roof. The roof, having to add on a little bit of sections there and some brick and some windows to make it look aesthetically pleasing with the township complex.
I just want to say, I looked at all of the renderings and went through like version 1, version 2, got to version 10, and went, wow, that's the best one. Then I got to the next page and it says final selected. It was the one I picked.
Yeah. Same here, Linda.
Yeah, so there was a little bit, we went back and forth. I say in my letter a year, but actually looking at it, time goes by a lot faster than what you think once you get older. It's been actually over a year and a half, almost 2 years we've been working on it, so I apologize for that mistake. But and then again, if the township does agree with what we picked out, we would next then, go forward with the project. We did not, I recommend to the board in my letter, it said I would not recommend building it right now because the contractor's prices are so expensive that this came in way over budget. And I don't think that, we're not in a big hurry. There's nothing like totally dilapidated with that building where we can't use it still. So I would recommend that we wait several months, and I'll keep an eye on it. And look from there. I also wanted the board to think about, actually, if you look back in some of those prices there, the amount of money they wanted to manage the job is $100 and some thousand, $138,000. I would be more than willing to take on that project. I have a builder's license, I've done this, this is really a residential build, and that's something for the township to think about, but I think that $138,000, that is something that is really in my wheelhouse that I can actually do, right? I'm here every day anyway, it's not much to manage that project, but just something to think about later, and I'll bring these back, and hopefully, the contracting prices, this is all union guys too as well. I think we can do a lot better than that and get a lot more bang for our buck if we wait a little while. So I'm asking the board if they agree on that, then the plans, that design, and then we can go forward and actually start seeing if, once the prices come down and bid out to the actual construction.
Well, I had the meeting with the supervisors over in Milford today, and they had put out bids for new buildings, and they were 150% above what they had put out. So they rebid, and it came in 10% under what they thought the first time. So things are changing
Okay, good.
dramatically.
So I think I'll wait till spring and we'll get the feel of the market and we'll go from there, but.
Okay, does the board have any comments?
I've got a question. Jerry, would you like us to approve your concept design so you can start working on one specific?
Yeah, if the board so desires, yeah, I would like that, at least, and that way we kind of get a better idea of what we're getting, and then I can get partners and architect to go ahead and actually give us some like physical prints and stuff that we can go into the construction phase.
Well, I'm glad you took the clock out of it because Lori's having a hard time getting the battery in this one too, you know, so. And we already have a clock, so I'm glad you didn't pick it.
Yeah, no, that would be station 2, the number 2 up there.
Okay.
I just had one comment on the scheme that you selected, the door going into the restroom from the garage portion.
Yes, and the reason why we did that is because our gear is contaminated a lot of times. And the reason why, like Station 1, we really should have that. We have a rule that you can't take your fire gear into the office area. And so we actually have to, you know, to use the restroom, we have to strip down out of our gear and able to go in there if we come back from a call or whatever, because the contaminants right on our gear. So to have a door there and not have to walk through is something that we all wanted, and as well as I do too. I mean, it is, we had to make that bathroom a little bit bigger to accommodate 2 doors in there. I know it's ridiculous, but honestly, it's gonna really work out nice.
Okay. 'Cause
It was something that we wanted to do.
Usually 2 doors into one bathroom is gonna be a problem.
Yes.
But, okay.
You gotta make sure there's like a doorbell.
Yeah, well, there will be locks.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the conceptual design labeled final scheme selected. So that allows, well, that's not part of the motion. I stopped at that.
I'll second that.
Okay, well, this doesn't have anything to do with money, right?
No, we're just approving the conceptual
So,
design.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes, thank you. Now,
All right.
the fire department again.
I'll be back with other information on that later.
Okay. Now we're moving on to 3C, a 3-year life pack maintenance agreement renewal with Stryker for $10,704.90 from 260-336-934-003. What can you tell us about that?
All right, so our life packs we got about 9 years ago. During that 9 years ago, through a grant, we had a maintenance agreement with those packs. They are our monitors that actually do blood pressures. They look at your heart. They send the pictures down to Crittenton or APR. They're a crucial piece of equipment that is really expensive. The new ones are probably $38,000 now and we have 2 of them right on both ambulances. To continue with these, there's nothing wrong with ours. They're still in good shape, but we need a maintenance contract, and I can only go out, because they are so old, that maintenance contract is a little more than it was when we actually got them on with a grant, right? But we want to extend their life a little bit longer. So I figured that $10,000 is on a 3-year contract will help push out that purchase of 2 more units, 3 more years, right? Because it really is, I'm trying to get them a little more life out of the machines if I can without having to buy, you know, $60,000 or $80,000 worth of life packs.
Okay.
Is this just only Stryker does that extended warranty?
That's the only company that works, that's their machine, so they are the only ones to work on that machine, so good question. Which was actually, Stryker actually bought the company and a little while ago, and we're waiting for the new machine to come out too. So that's another reason why they're updating our new machine, and they haven't come out with a really good one yet, so we're waiting for them to do that, and that's another reason why I want to extend this contract out.
Okay, any other questions?
So do we have this in the capital?
Yes.
Going forward? Well, there's no reason why we wouldn't, make a motion to approve the 3-year life pack maintenance agreement renewal with Stryker for $10,704.90 from 260-336-934-003.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have support. Any other comments? Not hearing any, can we have roll call, please?
Karen Guyval.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Mary Fox. Yes. Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes.
All right, thank you. Merry
Okay.
Christmas, Happy New
We'll
Year.
see you next month. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, resolution adopting the cemetery policy including fee schedule. I'm just gonna turn this over to Pauline. She's a cemetery person.
Alrighty, so the first thing that I guess we need to decide is we finally received all of our invoices from the columbarium. So the first one shows with no maintenance whatsoever. The second row shows the fees, and we would have $23,994 for maintenance. And then the third one's a little bit higher, $47,994 would go to the general fund for maintenance. And just to give you some rough idea of what maintenance cost at the cemetery, in 2022, we spent $21,200. In 22-23, we're at $16,000 right now. So although those seem like a lot of numbers, it's basically maintenance of the cemetery for a couple years. So I just need, what are we comfortable in charging the residents for the columbariums, and then whatever price we select will be inserted into the resolution. 800, not 800, the bottom row, the Sunset was saying a lot of people really don't like the bottom row of the columbarium, so they said to probably give a slight discount so that they'll sell. So I did the rates with that suggestion in mind, so those are $100 lower than the other.
So if we were looking at the $23,994 versus the $47,994, what's the difference?
So on the bottom row, there's gonna be 80 units. We would charge them $850 per columbarium, which is for 2 people. And the remaining 400 would be at $950 per columbarium.
What's the difference between the two maintenances prices?
Difference of $50.
I think she means, what's the difference in the maintenance itself?
It's just the difference of the funding that we'll collect to help offset the cost of the cemetery.
I guess I'm just wondering what the basis of maintenance is. Like we're saying $23,994, is that just what we're collecting?
That's just over and above, I think, what the
Our
total
cost is.
expenses were.
Okay.
So
And
that's
then-
why I said our maintenance of the cemetery cost $21,022. This year, we're already at 16. So by the end of our fiscal year, it's gonna be up there anyways.
So this is not an addition, this is showing the difference of using the two here, this is the difference. Okay, so the maintenance is the same, just a dollar figure, the
And how
charge.
much is the niche? I meant to look back and I didn't. The engraving?
That one is inserted in here because we decided on over here, $275, $375, and $220 for the final engraving service. So that's already in here because we selected that company. So now we need to put columbarium fees up here.
So we're looking at, say we did the $23,994, we're looking at, so the 400 remaining being $950 and $275 or more. So like $1,300 for
I'm
$1,325?
sorry, say that again?
So the total cost for somebody to buy a niche would be $1,325?
No, because they're not gonna pay for the engraving when they come to buy the niche unless they're gonna use it right away. So this will be their first cost, and then the second cost would come when they're gonna do the engraving. So just for an example, it sounds, and that's why I'm trying to say, it sounds like this is a lot for a columbarium. The cost is gonna be up front versus at the end. So the burial for lots in 2023 are gonna be $24.20 for 2 people. So when you compare what it's gonna be for a grave in ground versus columbariums, it's really what do we want to charge our residents for the columbarium?
Well, if somebody came in with an urn full of ashes, they would pay $1,325?
If they were ready to bury,
Yes.
depending upon what niche we decide to sell,
Right.
and if it's gonna be a single or a double, so you gotta decide which one they're gonna do, so yes, you'd be adding these prices to that fee.
Well, I think the one in the middle seems reasonable. But then the other one, it's $50 more.
Mhm.
and we have twice the money?
Because there's that many units.
There's that many units.
I think it would be wise to go the $50 more, only because in the future, we know costs are gonna go way up. And we're talking about maintaining the cemetery, and we maintain it through our general fund, so I think $50 is not gonna make a difference to anybody. It's still cheaper, I think, or at least a wash in the columbarium versus a traditional cemetery plot. By the time you
Depends if you
put
go
up,
single or double, but if you went double in 2023, it's going to be $2,420 versus purchasing 1,000 for two.
plus the headstone and everything else.
Well, I only did $500 for the headstone, and I'm guessing at $500.
Just to go off topic, I still think we should consider doing like a little platted area where people can have direct in-ground burials in the future, just as a cheaper option.
I have a question. I'm sorry, Lori.
Oh,
Once we set this price, then we are setting the price, it won't be changed in the future, or we could amend it if we decide
That's why
that-
we're doing it by resolution, so if we find that this is not working out, we could come back and change the rate. So if for some reason, the maintenance of the cemetery really goes up, we can always change it. We tend not to do that because we just don't want to charge our resident and keep increasing the prices unless we have to from the independent company, then we usually do. But yeah, we can change it.
I was just looking at the numbers, and I mean, we can pick any number we want. I thought what Clerk Bennett put was very reasonable, but I'm looking at it, I guess, from the number standpoint, and I'm thinking we've got indefinite maintenance. It's roughly $1,000 a month in perpetuity. We're looking at a 10 to 20 year payback for the money that we've already spent. So I thought we should even consider going up to maybe $1,100. Or another idea I had was maybe for the first year, putting them on sale or reduced cost. So if you bought them in the first year, we'll sell them for $1,000, but then after a year, they're gonna go up to $1,100. Try to encourage people to buy early, because we're gonna be selling these for so long, so that we can recover some of our money.
How would we advertise that?
Create your assessment
Put
notice.
an Excel sign up in front.
Oh, it doesn't assessment notices. What are they doing this year?
But we've
Yeah.
had people ask to buy, and we just kind of had to say they're not for sale yet. So I think there is going to be an interest in it.
However, since this is going to be in form of resolution, we can make a modification to change that if we
Right.
want to.
That's why I said we can change it whenever we want. We tend not to, but yeah, we can.
Is there a resolution already written up?
Well, right next to it is resolution authorizing a policy of the township cemetery with fee schedule. So this is what we reviewed last month. So now we would need to adopt it, but in the area where it says columbarium fees, I will insert either, let's do 1, 2, or 3. I would insert those numbers, whichever one the board picks.
I would like to make a motion that we use the bottom line, 80 bottom roll at 900,
Okay?
400 remaining at 1,000.
You have a
Are you
second?
moving the resolution?
Yeah, I'm moving the resolution, but I can't find it. I saw it, and then right here.
Here you go.
I got it. The resolution authorizing the policy of township cemetery with fee schedule. Where am I going to read here? Pauline?
That's enough because you already selected which one you wanted to use for the fee, so you're
Okay.
good.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, which is the 900 and 1,000 fee for the for the niches, okay? So that comes out with a $47,994 for maintenance, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments on that? Not hearing any, can we have roll call on that, please?
Mary Cross.
Yes.
Karen Donald.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson?
Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to the 4B. Genesee Vault is a professional company. And I know everything's increasing, and I do know that they've done a terrific job for Genesee Vault. They have a proven track record, and I know that it's the cost of doing business in the cemetery, but I don't think that the township wants to take on any other contracts or anything like that. I think we should just have the professional Genesee Vault Company, and I hate to try to manage that ourselves, but they do everything. So anyways, does anybody have any comments on this?
So
Yes.
basically, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Go ahead.
it's $100 more.
Well, we've flown under the radar for our 2022 increase. They just figured it out that they forgot to send us a notice, and it was when we recently called, and we're like, no, you cannot charge us more for the Malays. So anyways, he gave us to us, but he said that he definitely has to raise the rates for 2023. So for the remaining 2022, that's gonna be his rates, and then it's gonna go into 2023. They are very reliable. They do many cemeteries in the area. They're a larger company that actually has equipment dedicated to cemetery service, whereas a lot of the local people, and we used to use local, and I felt really bad. They'd be at a job really far away, and poor Dave would go, my tractor's way over, and then he would name a city, and that's like, I'm so sorry. So it makes sense to stick with a company that this is what they do.
I've got a couple of questions. Is the Genesee their only source we're going to on this, or we're not sending this out for bid, this is it?
No, we have
Genesee
a,
Bank.
how would you say, an agreement with them until further notice. It's like an open-ended,
Okay.
but they do increase their rate. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the 2022 rates and the 2023 rates.
Well, I've got another question then. Do we have a choice?
I'm very comfortable with them.
Then do we need a motion to approve the rates, or
Yes,
can we just receive and file?
No, we need a motion to approve the rates because the board always approves
Can we deny
the
it?
changes.
No.
We
We
had
can't
a
deny it.
nice
So
little.
it's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard spot. I'll make the motion, we approve the rates for Genesee Valley Vault.
I'll second.
And I will just say, as you know, we know that there's going to be a lot of increased cost to the cemetery. It's coming because wages, everything's going up, gas, everything. So be prepared for that.
You can
So
say no, and then you're gonna go.
anyways, this is a very reasonable raise, I think. So we have a motion and we have support. Any other comments? Not hearing any, can we have roll call, please?
Mary Cross,
Yes.
Karen Gardner,
Yes.
Linda Garrett,
Sorry,
She
just
said,
a second. Oh, sorry.
just need to-
Well, that's me.
Yes.
Ed Brakefield,
Yes.
Joey Fisher,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes. Now, we move on to, let me see, board appointment to NOHAS, but I guess we don't have that now. County Internet Committee, SEMCOG for a term, and a two-year term for board of review. Well, first of all, one of the board of review persons not able to attend at this time, so I need to fill that position in. And I'd like to, first of all, appoint Mary to SEMCOG, if that would be acceptable to you.
Sure, I can just jump right in.
Okay. And I'm looking also for, I think, the County Internet Committee for you also.
Do I have to know how it works?
No, because I don't need that.
Okay.
So, but keep your ear to the ground, okay?
Okay.
But anyways, because I think there's an opportunity for us in this township to get some grants to get the outlying areas onto internet that they have no access. So we just like to keep ourselves in the game. There's some good grants coming out from the state and the federal government, so let's see what we can, the county's gonna handle this. We just wanna know what's going on, so.
Okay.
That'd be a simple thing. The other appointment I need is on the Board of Review. I have a lady by the name of Leah Cardell. She lives over on Mountain Estates right off of Mack Road, and I've spoken with her. And I have some reference here from Jean Lord, who recommends her highly, and I've spoken with her. And I would like to appoint her. I have all men on the Board of Review. I'd like to have a woman on the Board of Review. We have in the past, and I'd like to do that. But I'd like to put her on as the alternate for now, and I'd like to move Eric Sent up to the permanent position because he's the alternate right now. And that's my recommendation. And so, anybody have any comments?
Yes. As far as the county internet, I believe they've only met one time so far, but there are a lot of meetings that are coming up for broadband. I try to attend as many as I could. I'm wondering if the board could also consider Mary to jump in on those meetings. I could kind of let her know, and she'll be paid similar to like going to a SEMCOG meeting, but there's a lot of meetings that I think are going to be important, and I'm not going to be able to attend them all.
I thought that was understood, that
No,
she was going to.
the county internet, they do have a county broadband, and they're not putting on these meetings. A lot of the meetings are coming from the state. I just had one with Charter, which the next meeting with Charter, I'd like for you to join in. So there's a lot of different moving parts to broadband. So it would be nice to also have Mary jump in on those that we think is gonna help us, I guess I should
Are
say.
you a good jumper?
I am.
Okay.
You should ask Mary first if she wants to.
I'm kinda asking everybody here.
Well, Bruce, do you
We all
need
say
us to
yay.
Make a motion to.
Yes,
authorize
I would
Mary
just,
to-
well, the motion, what I'm looking for, first of all, is to appoint Mary as a representative to the County Internet Committee and to assist at any meetings for the internet. Okay. And then SEMCOG also for Mary, and then Leah Cardell for my Board of Review, but as the alternate, and Eric Sent as the permanent member now.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Any comments? Not hearing any, can I have a roll call on that, please? I guess we can just do yay and nay on that one, there's no money involved, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Since, this is back to Mary, since we are authorizing Mary to go to the meetings with pay, there is money involved. Should we make a motion to authorize Mary to go to the meetings with standard pay?
It's included in
It
the
is included?
resolution. If the board appoints you to do something, you automatically get it. If the
Yeah.
board doesn't appoint you, then yeah, you can't claim
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Mary, you'll get paid, we're just gonna take it out of Ed's.
There you go.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Mary, you'll get nothing.
You get a bunny rabbit.
Yeah, by the way,
Okay. Now we'll move on to item number 6, which is the budget review. Okay. We opened this up the last couple meetings, and I told everybody kind of take a look at it. I know the expenses are Social Security went up 8.7%. I know that today, they're still saying it's at 8%. I don't know how they get all those figures, because I know that nobody's going to the grocery store who figures out those percentages, because it's definitely more than that. But I did talk to the other township supervisors, and 8% is what they're looking at. So I think we should go through this. I think we put in here a 7 as far as percentage raise, and a 1% for the employees for their retirement. But it doesn't mean that we spend it. I just want to be prepared. I know there's a recession coming, but we're in really good shape for the recession, and we've prepared for it. We've been through it before, and glad that we have some reserves, so I'm not worried about this next year, but I do think we are going into recession. That's just my opinion, but yes.
You mentioned two numbers, and if you favor one in particular, the 8% versus 7%.
Well, 8% is, okay, just as instance, one of our neighboring townships is, theirs is 8%. And that's with the union negotiations. I know that that's about what I had predicted way before they came out with the 8.7. I thought it was gonna be somewhere around 8%, but 8.7 is what it is. But people collecting the 8.7 aren't coming to work every day, aren't putting gas in their car every day, aren't buying clothes and lunches every day. So I still think that the 8% is reasonable for employees. That's 7% plus the 1% on their retirement. But if you like, we'll go through each one page by page, and if you have anything that you'd like to express, go right ahead.
I have a question on the
Yeah.
revenue on the first page. Why is our amended 22, 23 like $1 million different than the 23, 24 first page,
A lot
page
of
one?
it's your ARPA funds.
Huh?
ARPA funds, we received quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
And there's a carryover in the 22, 23 for 548,000, and that carryover isn't in the 23, 24. It will, I think, eventually be, but
I always wait till we're almost done, and then I insert the final.
Were you going to adjust anything on the cemetery portion of it based on what we did today?
The budget, we're trying to guess as far as how many people are going to purchase. So this is what we came up with. We can change it, or we can amend the budget if we need to.
If somebody were to cancel or decide they buy a plat or a niche, and then decide that they didn't want it, do they get all their money back, or is there some kind of cancellation administration fee?
And it was because of Karen's foresight, they can have all their money back except for the initial $100 fee, I believe, unless there's any engraving. If there's engraving on any of the stone, no.
No refunds?
They'd have to somehow find a matching, matching block or something.
Sorry, I'm off topic with
Okay, on page 1, any other questions on page 1? And we'll move on to page 2.
On page 2, 101-261-860, transportation, towards the bottom of the page, it reflects $17,000 that we typically give to NODA. I'd like the $17,000 removed from the budget since that millage passed.
And I did talk to all the other township supervisors who are in NODA with me, and they've all done the same.
so that becomes 0.
If everybody agrees.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that? Does anybody object to saving $17,000? No? Okay. Anything else on page 2? If not hearing any?
Just a quick question on
Yeah.
this, again, probably off topic, but aren't we collecting millage for the NODA, or we just have it in our budget?
Last month, we passed the resolution not to collect for the taxes.
Oh, that's right, okay.
So we're not collecting any taxes on that either, unless you want to pay it.
Just
Oh,
checking.
just okay, just checking. Okay,
Had the same thought. for
moving
some
on to
reason.
page 3. Nothing. Page 4.
I just wanted to point out under the street lighting, DTE just went for a rate increase with the state and they got the newest street lighting bill. And each one of our lights went up about $5. I think we've got 30-some street lights. And we've got some 100 watts and some 250 watts, but I was quite surprised when I looked at the bill of the increase.
Should we adjust these?
I had increased it thinking, I knew that they were going for a rate increase, so I did increase it, and I was just doing the math. I think we're still fine.
Well, let me throw this out, okay? DTE does put in the LED lights if we want to pay the money up front for, if you look on Rochester Road, there are LEDs. And the only reason I know this, because some of the neighbors complain that they shine in their windows, okay, because they're much brighter, but they're much cheaper to operate. DTE has thrown out, I know in Detroit they got them all for free, but they've advised us that if we would like those, we could pay extra and get the LEDs. And they're saying it's a 3-year payback after we pay for the LEDs on the savings on the electricity, because as you know, the LEDs are cheaper. We may want to think about this in the future only because electricity is going up. So if we want, we could, maybe you could contact them and just ask them what the fee is for changing them. Maybe we should put that in our budget and see if we want to just bite the bullet now so we get the savings later. They said in 3 years we'll pay for the new LEDs, and then after that the savings will be tremendous. So that's something to think about. And I wish I knew if these other ones are not on a private meter, so I don't know what the cost is of those versus our old incandescent lights that we have right now. But the LEDs are brighter, just so that everybody understands, and it's a different kind of a light. But if you notice around the country, everybody's going to the LED, so maybe we could research that. And when we come back next month, we can maybe decide if we want to, jump into that and put the LEDs. And I think up in the village, they have some LEDs now, west of town. I believe those are LEDs, are they not?
Yep.
Do they shine in your windows, do you know?
No, I have LED on my pole barn.
Okay. Because I believe those are LEDs on the west side of Leonard Road there. So we might want to look into that and say, let's bite the bullet and get the new kind of lights, and just like everybody's done in their own house,
Where are all the lights located? Did you say there was like 30-some?
There's some maps that we have, and actually we do have 2 or 3 LED lights in the township. I'm not sure how they got converted.
Well, on Rochester Road, they got converted because when they did the new expansion on Rochester Road, they took those poles down and they put up the new ones. And I think we must have got those for free. But the other ones, if you go on Lakeville Road, those are all the incandescents at Lake George and at Curtis Road. Those are still the old type ones. And I think coming around the corner here before you start going north, those are still old time ones.
Yes.
So I think it would behoove us probably to see, maybe they even have a grant program too, or whatever. When we got the lights here, I got that on a grant. So maybe we can look at that and bring that back next month. That's just, for conversation. Yes?
Are all the township property lights LED?
All the ones here in the township, yeah. When we built the building here, we upped it.
On the exterior?
Yeah, our exteriors are LED. The only one I don't know about is the fire department one off of your,
No, some of the outside lights are not, but the inside lights at Station 2 and Station 1 are LED except for the bay, which we didn't turn those on a lot of times.
but the one on the outside here for the parking lot.
No, that would not be LED. I don't think, is it on, is it
It
working?
hasn't worked in a
Yeah,
while.
Well, then-
it's not even working.
Then it's time we can put an
Yeah.
LED in there, then it'd be,
And we took advantage of the grant program through DT as well.
right. So anyways, if you could do that, that's just, maybe next month we can bring that back and see if we want to spend a little extra money or do a few at a time or something it would, in the long run, save us money. Okay, we'll move on to page 5. We do have pretty favorable raises from the sheriff's department. We're very fortunate. So we're at the point someday in the future, if we added one more deputy, then we would have good coverage 24 hours a day, and I think it's a safe level. We just haven't done that. We have a swing shift right now. But someday in the future, I'm preparing that if we get one more, that would put our minimum coverage on all 3 shifts, which, like I said, I want to make sure that all our deputies go home also at the end of their shift. So we need to look out for them, and as soon as we can, I think that would be a good idea. We'll go on to page 6. And let's go on to page 7. The parks. I have a few more things. As you know, we had a big work session. The park rangers and the park committee, they all fixed up and have part of the trail. We also put new garage doors on with volunteers on the red pole barn there at Lake George. We're getting prepared to move the observation blind out, and then we're getting prepared to put a deck by the dock, which is will be accessible for people with disabilities. And we're also trying to, I think this next year, we'll be able to get the path that has a 3% grade and get a material there that's good for wheelchair use. So those are some of the projects. Another project that I would like to finish is get a road at the bottom of the sledding hill here into a small parking lot so we can get an ambulance down there. And the park committee said they'd help me on that, and I have a volunteer that said he would bring his equipment over to put the road in for us. So those are the last 2 items I think that I have on my bucket list since I took office. I think I've pretty much completed all of the things I had wished to do, and I think those are the last 2 of the bucket list. So anyway, that's what we have on this budget here. Any questions? Nothing? Page 8. In there, then page 9. Now the road improvement revolving fund, I think that's been a great success. All you have to do is look at the road behind Louis. It's all paved now. There's no more chloride going into the lake from that road. They have drains that actually take the water and put it into the lagoon. So the lagoon now has fresh water going into it. It's not filling up anymore with debris. I've driven it many times. It actually looks beautiful. I know it enhanced the whole community there. I have one more road that the engineering is, I think, complete on, which will be Peninsula Road for next year, that they would like to pave that. And Annandale has approached me on their road also. So I think this is a win-win for all of us because we don't have to put gravel on that road. We're not putting chloride anymore into the lake. And they're getting a nice asphalt road in front of their house. So you can actually buy a nice car now. I'm going to move on to page 10. Okay, and we'll move on. That's it. And I think you can see the community projects for 2023-24. I think you see all of the subtotals on here, except that no has. And we're going to have a small cost. I know we put, what, $7,500 on that, but We're not gonna pay the 12,000 or whatever. So we'll use some of that to offset at our spring cleanup and get the hazmat done at that time.
These unallocated funds in community development, what's that?
Typically, it's when somebody comes up with an idea that's gonna benefit the community.
Is that like CDBG?
No, it's just showing that we put in 70,000 total. So we've allocated right now 56,000, so
gotcha.
that leaves us 13,000 for something that might come up that we just might not be aware of just yet.
So we're gonna add 7,500 to that number.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
And we might want to consider next year our CDBG money. We do send some of it to NODA. The discussion today at the meetings were that we may not be sending that money to NODA because the county millage now is supplementing that. So we may find another use for that in our own community. Right now, we give some of it to NODA and some of it for, I believe, the trailer park. So we might find another use for that. Okay, and then ARPA funds, we already know what we're allocating on that. Does anybody have any questions? Or once again, think about this and then we will bring it back next meeting, and in January we'll discuss it one more time. I think that we're gonna probably adopt it in February.
On public hearing, I'll have that ready next month, so we can schedule a public hearing in February, and the wage resolutions should be distributed next month.
Very good. Okay. And we'll move on to the long one. That's usually 2 to 3 hours, the supervisor's report.
What about our public forum, Bruce?
Pardon?
Don't we have public forum before your report?
Oh, we do, yes. Okay, well, first of all, in the public, do we have anybody in the public who would like to speak, please?
Thank you.
Go ahead, Gino.
Eugene Malia, Village of Leonard, 4594 Rosie Drive. Well, now I see you guys got a little extra money hanging around here. I'd like to bring a suggestion forward. Veterans Monument out here, okay, outside of your door here. Probably more appropriate place for that would be at the Lakeville Cemetery. Now that you have the flag poles up there, you have such a beautiful look. I can't even say that word, whatever that is.
Mary.
Columbarium.
Thanks. And all of that. It really doesn't belong through there in the next couple of days. If you look at the disrespect they're paying that monument in the side of the wall there with benches slid up against the wall, you can't even see it. You don't have this problem here. This board would probably never consider doing anything like that, but just a suggestion. It hasn't been updated. It had a few little wars there in between the last time it's been updated. That should be updated to include Iraq, freedom, and Afghanistan, and those in the township have served. And then possibly move to the cemetery at a later date. Wouldn't be that much. You're talking a pad, I don't know how much it is. Well, he would, as far as inscription goes, because
Well,
got a big one up there. But anyway, it really would probably be more appropriate at that building than it is out here. It's not backlit that I'm aware of. There's no flags outside with it. It doesn't require that by law or any statute, but it would look better up there. That way, when you have your Memorial Day, your Veterans Day, and everything that, it could all be in one centralized place.
We do have a flag out here with
You
it,
do,
but
you do.
would it be better to maybe start investing in a new one that we could bring to the cemetery? And,
I don't think there's anything wrong with the one you've got,
well, is there
unless you wanted to keep it here for some particular reason. But,
is there enough room on that for the names, though?
oh, the new, would have to be expanded,
Pardon?
You'd have to.
We'd have to add more to
Right.
that, so
more
what I'm
panels.
saying is that maybe we should consider that we improve that one, and if you'd like,
That'd be a
if you
start.
think it's appropriate to put it at the cemetery with how we've, improved that now, maybe this is the time to do that and put a bigger, better one up there, and
I would
not
also
just that one.
I'm sorry to be interrupted, I suggested the Village of Leonard that maybe at some point in time they pry it out of that wall, which was never designed to be, and then move that one up also. It's just respectful the way that one sits, not yours, I don't want to confuse the two, but update this one and possibly move them both up there.
Well, I believe it's maybe time that we really improve the monument of some way or another, and actually, I'm not saying that this one is not, good enough, but it's not big enough, I don't think anymore. I think now there's a lot of names we should be adding on there that we haven't.
Possibly maybe 30 or 40, I don't know how many there is per panel, I'm just guessing, that's just an estimate. Guessing. Thank you. Just a suggestion, thank you.
Could I ask you, I know that you guys, or you're at the Legion on different things like that, could you come up with some suggestions to us as to what you think a monument, an improvement might look like, what you are looking for?
Maybe working with that new gentleman, what's his name, with the cemetery auxiliary?
Jeff.
Jeff. We spoke about that the other day, and he seemed to show some interest.
Or, take some pictures of what other townships or other cities have done in their cemeteries. I'm very interested in my brother was in Vietnam, I understand, and my brother's up in Great Lakes, and I would love to see something bigger and better up at the cemetery. If you could assist me in finding some design.
Thank you. I can do that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else for public forum?
Yeah.
Gino and Gino.
You want money?
My name is Gino Maria. I live at 7080 Stonewall, Leonard, Michigan. Been a resident here for 65 years or so. I just want to tell this here board what a wonderful job your fire department has done. They were so good. They put my wife in the ambulance and did a wonderful job. Just want to let you know that.
Thank you. I was there. I thought they've always done a wonderful job. They did an exceptional job this time.
Perfect. So just one moment for that, I'd like to say, some people might not know some of Marlene's history with the fire department. But I guess the obituary talked about a little bit about that. But you guys have to realize that back in the day when we were all volunteer and nobody was getting paid, she went above and beyond and kept the basic transporting that we had back there with our ambulances going all those years where nobody got paid. This was all volunteer and all that stuff that happened. And then in 2002, when we went and did that transition to ALS, advanced life support, it made that transition so much easier. And you guys also have to realize that Addison Township up here in this little northeast Oakland County was one of the first ones to start transporting back in the late 60s and 70s when it was just in a hearse, running down the road. So to give you that kind of an idea, people don't understand what she's helped us do, and we've continued to be able to build on what she built. So we should owe a good thanks to Marlene every time that ambulance shows up to your house. And I remember lots of times when I was on in '94 when she was running where it was just her and another person making the call and there was nobody here, we were all at work. So and that man there remembers helping out a lot too when he was an officer, when there was only 2 people showing up. So Marlene has a big heart with our fire department, right? So I appreciate the time that she spent, and God bless her and her family.
Usually in public forum, I don't usually speak. This is where we listen. But I do have a little story to tell you about Marlene. Back in the 70s and 80s, I met Marlene. I showed up to the medicals, and she saw me standing around like all deputies do because the fire department handles everything. And she said, "You're an Addison. You're a firefighter now. Do you understand that? Get a hold of this gurney right now. We got to get this guy into the ambulance." And I kind of looked around like, well, there's just 3 of us here. She goes, "Yeah, you get the heavy end and the rest of us get the light end. So hurry up." And that's how I met Marlene. And at fires, I learned how to put fires out because Sometimes there were only one or two of us that would show up, grab that hose, turn on that, which one do you want me to turn on? And everybody would tell me how to fight fires. And that's how I met Marlene, and I'm not showing my age, but I think that was 50 years ago, yeah.
She had no qualm in telling you what to do.
Yeah,
How to do it.
and, but I remember Marlene, and I remember when she finally retired. She was just wonderful. And up here in Addison Township, if it wasn't for Marlene, a lot of people would never have been taken care of. And she did take care of the whole community. And I will say one more thing, okay? My son, as you know, Marlene's daughter, Diane, helped me raise my son. I can't thank them enough. And my son always called Gino and Marlene, Grandma and Grandpa. And my mother, at 100 years old, the biggest treat in her life was being able to sit on their front porch during the Strawberry Festival or Halloween, because Gino gave out
And all treats.
some spirits. But anyways, I will miss her very much. And I was at the cemetery, and it was a very emotional cemetery. So, but I won't speak anymore on that. Any township board reports?
I have a question.
Yes.
Gino, senior. Marlene, to help deliver a baby is a trophy. In Addison Township, can you recall how many babies,
22.
22 babies she helped deliver? That's remarkable. I don't think there's anyone in Addison Township that does not know the name Marlene Land. So,
You're right.
one more.
Any other board reports? Any other board comments?
Report except Pollyann Trail. Just keep praying for the trail manager that everything goes okay. She made it back from Peru, and just keep praying, keep her in your prayers. She made it back to her family.
Pollyann Trail goes to Peru, or no?
The trail manager.
Okay. So, anyways,
It's not a board report, but I just wanted to congratulate the fire department for winning the Christmas tree contest.
Oh, yes, we did, thank you.
Yeah, amazing numbers.
Congratulations.
Six different communities participated, and I think the second highest was 57, and we had over 1,000 residents,
Yeah.
and people voted for Addison.
That was all Angela. She did a great job.
She knocked it out of the park then. That was a big difference. I couldn't believe the numbers.
okay, is that any other board reports? No? Well, my report is real short, is Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody has a Happy New Year, and I will see you next year. I believe our meeting, as you know, is going to be on Tuesday, not Monday, on January 17th, and I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much.